Hello, everyone. Thanks for tuning in. Once again, you're listening to World Combat Sports. Hopefully, everybody's doing great. And once again, we're on a Thursday. And you know what that means, right? We're getting closer to the weekend so you can do what you got to do. Whether it's going out with your girl, hanging out at the club, visiting the city, shopping, or getting ready for fight week. You know what I'm saying? It never stops. Boxing, mixed martial arts never stops. It's all year round. As you're looking at the thumbnail, you know what it is. December 12th, London, Anthony Joshua versus Kubrat Pulev. 12 rounds for Joshua's WBA, WBO, IBF. And, you know, of course, he does have that trinket on the end, the IBO. And also on December 12th, Las Vegas, Shakur Stevenson versus Toka Kahn Clary. 10 rounds, junior lightweights. Listen, Shakur Stevenson is only 14-0, 8 knockouts. But when they asked him when he was in Joshua Greer corner, he said, "Do you have a moment to speak about your upcoming fight with Toka Kahn Clary? Can you kind of, talk us through it? How do you think that fight will go?" And Shakur Stevenson said, "It's going to be a massacre." I think that's one of the most classic lines I've heard in a long time. I'm not going to lie to you. It's one of the most classic lines I heard in a long time. Shakur Stevenson said it's going to be a massacre. Now, when you speak of the word massacre, that means you have ill will. You're about to be, you're this combat practitioner, and you're about to go into a situation, and your intent is all malice. Your intent is to inflict extreme harm. Your intent is to cause mayhem, chaos, and everything else that goes along with damaging. You know what I'm saying? A massacre is going above and beyond to destroy and destruct. That's what massacre means. And that's a classic line that Shakur Stevenson gave. He's going in there against Toka Kahn Clary. And not to take anything away from Toka Kahn, I think he's like 23-2, 28-2 or something like that. I need to go back and check that shit out. Toka Kahn Clary. I think this cat is 28-2, and he has a pretty good amount of knockouts also. You know what I'm saying? He has like 18 knockouts, I believe. Let me double check right here. Yeah, 19 knockouts. So he has experience on his side. He's been stopped once already. It's been a minute, though. It's been a good minute since he was stopped. We're talking back in 2016. All right. Han Jamino is the one that stopped him. And that was in the first round. I mean, damn. First round, 2016. And this particular guy had 7 losses. He was 14-7-1 heading into that fight with Toka Kahn Clary. So what does it say for Shakur Stevenson? He steps in there with another opponent to go prove himself, and also to continue to advance to what he really wants is a title shot. I truly appreciate and respect what Shakur Stevenson said recently, that when it comes to the ring, everybody's the enemy. He don't have no friends. And that goes for Jamel Herring, anybody else. He said, if we're gonna fight, we're gonna fight. I like that energy and that mentality that he has. You know what I'm saying? We already know Shakur Stevenson is the truth. We know it, but also, along with everything else that goes with boxing, you have to continue to advance in the sport. You have to continue to grow, blossom, have to continue to build your achievement and your credentials and everything else that goes with bringing more exposure to your name. And the only way that you do that in boxing over here in the U.S. footprint is win. And you win in a way that's entertaining to the fans. Now, what's potentially on the horizon for Shakur Stevenson is another belt. You know what I'm saying? He's 14-0, 8 knockouts. It's highly possible he's going to pick up a strap where he's at right now at 130 before moving up to 135. It's highly possible. And he'll be a 2-division champion very, very quickly. Shakur Stevenson's 23 years old, right? It was one point in time that I said, you know what? Shakur Stevenson will be a 5-division champion. You know what I'm saying? 5-division champion minimal. But I believe right now Shakur Stevenson may end his championship weight at around 154. It's highly possible that Shakur Stevenson may end at 154. Because I think if, you know, from the route that he's taking right now and the speed on his boxing speedometer, he's going to run through some divisions pretty early and pick up some belts. And I believe he's going to get at least about 4 divisions, I think. 4 divisions. 4. I say 4 minimal 4 divisions before he's 30. The language that Shakur Stevenson's talking, he means everything on what he's talking about. He's not really out here just rambling on just for nothing. He's content with making a point and driving it home. So all this talk that you see a lot of people do in the media, I mean, I know it's good for TV, but when Shakur says it, you seem like that. Damn, you know, maybe I should pay attention. Like he say, it's gonna be a massacre. Damn, that shit was classic, bro. He says it's gonna be a massacre with no freaking hesitation or nothing. Toka Kahn Clary, you know, seems to think otherwise. Of course, he say, "Hey, I want him to go in there and think that he's gonna wash me." It's good for him to think that. That don't put any stress on me. That puts stress on Stevenson. So I look at Clary as being confident in himself. You know, Clary's is happy about stepping into this ring with somebody like Shakur Stevenson. Because always, as long as he got the hype behind him, his opposition is always going to fight that much harder to derail whatever he got popping. That's all it takes is one fight. One fight in boxing against a notable name that's undefeated could change your career. We know that. I want to say salute to everyone that's in the building, in the live chat. Salute. Appreciate you hitting the like button. Continue to support World Combat Sports. And it's truly appreciated each and every time. Tony Boswell in the building. Much respect, World Combat Sports has us stop and show support. Working doubles this weekend. Smash the like button and show support. I appreciate that, Tony. And all the ones that's out there working and getting it in, man. Salute. Get it in. Do what we supposed to do as men. Provide. Go out there and work and make a living the right way. So, you know, I always ask Tony, what's up? What he got going on? He always tell me he has a shift. I understand. Hey, I understand. Because over half of my career in the Corps, I was working shift work. I didn't know what a weekend looked like. A full weekend off. That's what I mean. You know, a full weekend. I didn't know what that shit looked like. So I know what the shift work is like, man. So those of you shift workers that's out there, hey, I know it can be difficult, especially if you're on that graveyard shift, but stick with it, hold your head up. You know what I'm saying? Stay positive. It's the holiday season. So it's especially something's good going to come out of it. And plus, you know, we're looking to leave this year behind, man. 2020, leave that shit so far behind. We ain't trying to talk about this no more. Tone, what's good? Salute to you, man. Clary's underrated fight. I believe he will rise to the occasion, but I think Stevenson still wins. Yeah, I respect that, Tone. You know, Clary, he cannot have 28 wins and 2 victories and only been stopped once in his career. And he's just a bag. He has to have something that's complementary. You know what I'm saying? He has to have some type of justice to his league of combat sports. He absolutely does. He has to have that. Period. You know, we seen Shakur Stevenson go to this one with Joet Gonzalez. You know, Shakur Stevenson understands he's not a knockout artist, but he can box his ass off. Shakur Stevenson can box his ass off, man. His whole mentality is to beat you in every way possible. That's his mentality. And you're probably saying that's everybody's mentality. Not really. You know, some people just come in there and they really don't know what game plan to execute. They just know they have to go in there and try to win. But I just get this sense of Shakur Stevenson and how he chooses to be a scholar in the boxing ring. He's a very smart fighter. And I really hope we're able to see him, carry out his boxing career and witness what he's able to accomplish. I think he has a huge window out here to do great things in the sport of boxing. And I was just sitting back watching some of his fights, and I'm saying, you know what? He can potentially or possibly be a 6th division world champion. It depends on how fast he moves. If Top Rank doesn't have him treading water and prevent him from getting some good fights. He's gonna have to pick and choose what division he wants to unify and hold more than one belt at, and what division he chooses to try to be undisputed. Because in between those divisions I mentioned, from his first division of featherweight all the way up to if he goes to 47 or 54, it would be nice for him to try to become undisputed at least one of these divisions to cement his legacy. You know what I'm saying? That'd be great. Thank you, World Combat Sports. You already know that's what's up, man. Working and listening, leading these loading these dumb trucks. I feel you, bro. I feel you. Lawrence Williams in the building. What's good? Salute, man. So what exactly? I know you you've heard that Anthony Joshua is facing Kubrat Pulev, right? So, dealing with Anthony Joshua, you barely had any type of promo leading up to this, which was just amazing. Like he's the unified heavyweight champion. He barely had any freaking promo to really boost it up. I mean, damn, how do you supposed to get more subscribers? How do you all continue to say, Anthony Joshua this? I really can't say that the promo has a lot to do with him not being promoted. That bleeds over to him not being a decent champion. I have to blame the promotion for that. All right. When they came out with this $1 billion bullshit, I was like, that's Eddie Hearns hyping up the numbers. You know what I'm saying? Exacerbating the whole, the zone deal and everything. And they just haven't lived up to what they initially introduced it as. So Joshua is 23-1, 21 knockouts. And his only loss came to Andy Ruiz, which he avenged in a marginal performance, but he avenged it, right? You know what I'm saying? He lost in June of 2019, came back in December, I believe, and won the title back, got his titles back. Now he steps in there with Kubrat Pulev. And, Kubrat Pulev only has one loss. He's 28-1. Had just the amount of experience as Joshua, a little bit less knockouts, 14 knockouts. So when it comes to the boxing game, he lost to Vladimir Klitschko, right? And that was back in 2014. But we also know at one point in time, Anthony Joshua stepped in there too. Okay, Anthony Joshua stepped in there with Vladimir Klitschko in 2017. And that was like, a little over 2 years after Kubrat Pulev stepped in there. He was able to get the job done. So they have common opponents, except Kubrat lost to Klitschko and Anthony Joshua was able to defeat him. Now, I will always say this, people. I will always say this, that I don't understand why it's so difficult just to digest, the audible for when it comes to Anthony Joshua and how he was built up as a champion, because it's a lot of things that happen that I wish wouldn't happen, not for the sake of the individual, but I'm just saying I wish it wouldn't happen in boxing. Tyson Fury, if he would have kept his belts, how long would it have taken Anthony Joshua to even get a belt off Tyson Fury? Would he have gotten a shot at Tyson Fury? You know what I'm saying? Would he have fought Tyson Fury, and could he have beaten Tyson Fury? So since Tyson left the sport and went away and went on cocaine binges and all this other shit, lo and behold came Anthony Joshua, who's fighting for the vacant. Okay. So when he had the opportunity to fight for the vacant, it comes down to was there some type of activity for Vladimir Klitschko? You know what I'm saying? What was his activity like before he stepped in there with Anthony Joshua? It is damn difficult for people to just overlook. When it comes to just talking about these heavyweights, and Deontay Wilder's name is in here, but I'm not talking about Deontay Wilder right here. It's just pathetic in a lot of ways that you don't even want to take the time to look at BoxRec. You know what I'm saying? Tyson Fury defeated Vladimir Klitschko in 2015, November 2015. Anthony Joshua went out and basically searched, retrieved, and obtained Vladimir Klitschko to fight him in April 2017. I say once again, Tyson Fury defeated him in a 12-round unanimous decision, November 2015. He came back April 2017 because once again, Eddie Hearns, Anthony Joshua wanted to put on this big fight at Wembley Stadium, and they wanted him to go in there and fight somebody that would potentially do what they had to do. You know what I'm saying? Klitschko wasn't planning on coming back as an active fighter. Right around. Was he planning on coming back at the time, being out the ring that long? But anyway, he was able to get what he was able to get. And we all know what that was. He wanted somebody in there to be the proper dance partner. He wanted the proper dance partner. And he got it. Wembley Stadium. He got the proper dance partner to pick up that belt. So when it's spoken about, when I speak about something that's on BoxRec, it's not no way, shape, or form hating. It's the fact that they went out looking for this cat. They had to have the correct dance partner to make that shit happen. So they got it. After he was out of the ring for that long period of time. He wasn't an active freaking heavyweight champion at the time. So they had to find somebody to come and fight for that vacant IBO title. They had to find the right dance partner to fight for that vacant WBA Super World Heavyweight title. There's nothing wrong with that, right? So now we come up on the eve of Kubrat Pulev trying to shock the world again. And you know what? When it comes to Joshua, I'm like saying to myself, is he going to win or is he going to lose? Is there a plan for him to lose his titles again and then, in a rematch, win them back so he can be 3-time unified champion? to further cement his legacy? I mean, what scheme or maneuver are we looking forward to now? That's all I want to know. What scheme is it now? So if Anthony Joshua goes in here and defeat Kubrat Pulev, kudos. Now we get to understand what's the next plan of attack, the POA, the plan of attack. Is it going to be Tyson Fury? We don't know because he's in, a tight litigation process with Tyson Fury, the active WBC World Heavyweight Champion. So will it be Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, who links up with one another? Or will Anthony Joshua have to face his mandatory in Alexander Usyk? Either way it goes, these two fights that's coming up for Joshua are pretty marginal compared to the way people are hyping him up to be. He's 31 years old, so he has plenty of time to do what he has to do. You know what I'm saying? He has plenty of time to pretty much properly plan his freaking itinerary to get that WBC belt, if that is indeed something he chooses to try to conquer. You know what I'm saying? With Anthony Joshua, you don't know if he has enough intestinal fortitude to conquer the WBC belt if by chance someone outside of Tyson Fury has that belt. Now, I'm pretty sure it'd be a decent fight if Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua fought for the WBC belt. In reality, in boxing reality, I don't feel that Anthony Joshua can defeat Tyson Fury. I don't feel that Anthony Joshua can defeat Deontay Wilder. I do believe that both of these fights will gross a huge amount of money and it'll be good for boxing. But we know if it's Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua, it's going to be in the UK. It's going to be in the UK, period. I mean, it's you don't even really have to contemplate that. You know what I'm saying? That's not even the brainstorming process right there. You can just snap your fingers. Like, okay, that's going to be in the UK. And they're going to go straight to Wembley Stadium so they can get all whatever they want. We try to make it seem all the pyrotechnics, the smoke, the freaking the lights. You know what I'm saying? All the strobe lights. I mean, I like it. I ain't gonna lie. I like how they set it up over there, levitating stages and all this shit. But I will always say this about, Joshua and what people really don't understand about the best person on these resumes. Because I have to touch on this, right? I have to touch on this. It's important for me to touch on this, right? When you mention who has the best resume out of these heavyweights, does it really matter? Does it really matter? The ground floor, does it really matter who has the best resume when it was a point in time when the heavyweight division was in a depression, when the heavyweight division was basically locked down like we were in COVID? I don't think people really choose to kind of dive a little bit deeper into it and figure it out. But for a long time, especially in the U.S. boxing footprint, the heavyweight division was empty. You know what I'm saying? There was a skeleton crew over here. Like we were searching for a Deontay Wilder. We were searching for somebody to take over. We was just searching. Now that it picks back up, Deontay comes back on the scene through the Olympics in 2008. We start to build up and try to search for that heavyweight. Now, once we get one and it's the WBC, he does what he's supposed to do, right? Anthony Joshua, he takes over the position of attendance when Tyson Fury went on hiatus, and he picks up the belts however he see fit, right? So people have to understand when it comes to resumes and talking about who has the best resume, you have to look at Klitschko too. Klitschko held every belt besides the WBC. He never held the WBC. It's sort of like what Joshua was trying to emulate. People look at Klitschko, oh man, he was unified champ for this. But you look on his record, just grab a handful of Hall of Famers that's on Klitschko record. You know, he may have more experience, but grab all those Hall of Famers. Let me know whenever you pull those up. Let me know what the Hall of Famers are on freaking Klitschko's record. Let me know the Hall of Famers that's on Anthony Joshua's record, besides Klitschko. Sooner or later, Alexander Povetkin will be, potentially. This depends on how long he stays in the sport. If he keeps on knocking out people like Dillian White, that's supposed to be at the top of the chain of the heavyweight division, hey, he's going to continue to damn punch his ticket to the Hall of Fame. Because people are up here saying, which was the dumbest shit, they're going to say Deontay Wilder, if he's to come back, he needs to fight. He needs to fight the opposition like Joshua and Dillian White. Now, if I wouldn't have woke up back in the day and recognized that I was black, some of the shit that come out my mouth this day and time, people look at me like, God damn it, he's a racist. But I'm saying my people, when it comes to Deontay Wilder, say some of the dumbest, ignorant ass, stupid shit I can ever think I can hear. These people are hell bent. When we're just talking about one person that's supposed to be so vilified, when it comes to Anthony Joshua, I always ask myself, right? It's a rhetorical question. I say, so why is Anthony Joshua, who barely got any promo for this fight with Kubrat Pulev, why isn't too many people even talking about Kubrat Pulev? Kubrat Pulev. He has one loss. No one is talking about this fight. But when it comes to Anthony Joshua, people have such healthy, their words are so soft spoken. He's this, he's that. Yeah, he's playing the fiddle to the people. He's being a nice guy. I've always been critical of Joshua as a boxer. Absolutely, I have. And then, you know, I'm extremely critical when they was going through negotiation in 2018. But this fight that he's stepping into with Kubrat Pulev, no one's talking about it. But yet you get people that's continually to boost him up as he's the best athlete since being given a gift in the Olympics. The real hardcore boxing fans understand that Joshua didn't win the London Olympics. He was gifted that gold medal round bout, and that was only the start to his career of being a farce. When you give people receipts, just like I did the other night, I gave a receipt that Charles Martin took a dive when he fought Anthony Joshua. He got the biggest paycheck. And I gave the receipt. I said, just check out the Andy Konoski fight versus Charles Martin. And they mentioned the same thing. It's an unspoken rule really in boxing to accuse somebody of fixing a fight, but yet you will hear somebody reiterate someone took a dive. So is a dive and fixing a fight somewhat similar? Absolutely they are. But it's better to say, well, somebody took a dive. Well, what does a dive mean exactly? Where in the fight did they take a dive? You know what I'm saying? But to say it was fixed, they fixed the fight. That's a little bit more premeditated. You know what I'm saying? People like, oh, they fixed the fight. They went in there with preconceived intentions to fix the fight. But a dive can say at some point in the fight, they chose to lose. This will be a perfect time. Mike Tyson throws the freaking right hand, and Bruce Seldon believes that the hand is going to land, and he hurry up and goddamn drop to the floor. I'm not making this shit up, dog. This shit happens. But people don't want to hear it. I get it. I get it. Pinkerton in the building. What's good? WCS, enjoy your channel, bro. Appreciate that, man. 21 strong in the building. Salute. So what's up, WCS? I honestly forgot he was even fighting on Saturday till a couple of days. Yes, Joshua's fighting, y'all. Very minimal promo. When I say minimal, I mean super duper, extreme minimal promo. Hardly any flyers out there on it. Question WC, have you ever been to the UK to see a fight? If so, how was it? Look, I've never been to the UK to care to see a fight. I wish I would have been over there previously. I came close to it though. I came close to it in my travels. I came close to going over to the UK, but I never seen a fight over there. I would say to myself, the places that I did see, like Japan and all these other places, they did me justice, all the justice I need. Like nothing like Japan. Absolutely. But good question, man. I'm not sure Usyk. People don't want to talk about that WCS. I'm not sure what you meant by Usyk there, Lawrence Williams. Was AJ gave, let me see. Al gave AJ, but not Wilder. Al gave AJ Martin, but not Wilder. Yeah. Tony Boswell, appreciate that, man. Smash the like button and show support for the hard work. I appreciate that, man. Real talk. From the real ones out there that support, I appreciate you. Thanks for the donation, Tony Boswell. Real talk. Keep your head up out there on the shift work, man. I know how that shit is. Yeah, Usyk is up next. If it's not a unification, yeah, he'll be up next. If Tyson Fury come up out of this litigation and he's able to move on in his career and fight, it will not be Usyk. It would be Tyson Fury and Anthony Joshua. But, we know Usyk is the freaking mandatory. You know what I'm saying? We know he's the mandatory. How many people are looking forward after Usyk coming off that fight with Derek Chisora to step in there with Anthony Joshua? I'll wait. How many? Ain't too many people goddamn wondering about that shit. Seriously. Well, I'm going to say this. AJ is chinny. If Ruiz can make him quit, and he did, a fighter spits his mouthpiece out. And on one knee, he quit. So don't count Pulev out. Just my opinion, nothing against AJ. That's a strong point made. And it has validity to it. It makes sense. But listen, listen, people in the live chat, understand this. When someone is speaking on a specific situation dealing with boxing, and opinions are not based off fact at all. It's just an opinion. It's just how a person perceives it and they speak on it, right? So therefore, I found out a lot in boxing when you base your opinion, when some people base their opinion, they want to put facts on the end of it. No, your opinion doesn't mean it's facts. And a lot of what you say, if you are extremely biased and leaning to one side, that's just exactly what it is. It's bias. You're basically trying to influence someone with the narrative. You're trying to push off a narrative that you've injected a lot of venom towards a specific individual that you don't support, but you want them to believe that it's fact. But indeed, it is an opinion. So when it comes to the heavyweight division, it's Deontay Wilder, Anthony Joshua, Tyson Fury. Deontay Wilder's name bring a lot of heat to people to lose their mind, you know what I'm saying, and start to vilify. They never broke bread or none of that shit. But what I've seen is certain people love to speak about a fighter on social media that they don't support, but it brings enough hatred into the conversation, and they like that. It keeps them warm inside. You know what I'm saying? It keeps them very warm. They can get enough people on there in their channel to follow a specific narrative. So if this specific channel do not like Deontay Wilder, the people that are supporting the channel, majority of them will tune in because they know that person's not going to speak in kind words of Deontay Wilder. That's how we see it out here. That's how my optics tell me out here in social media. That's what I've heard with my ears. And look, people say they talk about boxing, right? But you look at their thumbnails, they talk about the same fighter all the time. Because once again, I told you, they feel nice and cozy. And they speak about the same fighter that brings that contentiousness. And my Keith Sweat. Nobody, nobody will be tuned in to see Joshua. Nobody. You know what I'm saying? I agree, man. But it's not unbelievable. It just takes a little bit of time to get acclimated how you really have some pussies out here. You really have some fuck boys that frequents freaking social media a lot. And you will find, listen, you will find it's no way that you're gonna find my voice out here. And when somebody's trying to address me about an answer or ask me a question, that I have to include Lawrence, 21 Strong, Tony Boswell, Tone. I gotta say, hey, y'all check this out. You know, no, I answer the question on my own, right? Independently, I respond. It's a question to me. But you can always tell when you have fuckboys out here that's pretty much trying to gather an audience. They will not address you specifically on a boxing topic, especially the heavyweight division. They will always turn to other people collectively and just try to gather their energy to support them on their answer before they answer. And these individuals really don't know shit about boxing, but they know about a certain boxer. So if they know more about a certain boxer and they're trying to build up their freaking channel to talk about one specific boxer, they're going to talk about the boxer who they love to hate on. I see this a lot. I hear it a lot. I see it a lot. But then this is another thing I hear dealing with the heavyweight division. You know, they boost up Anthony Joshua so much, but then they don't talk about him actually quitting and giving up in the Andy Ruiz fight, who was a 3-week replacement. And then they turn around and say, well, you know, Andy Ruiz, they say he beat Joseph Parker. He really beat Joseph Parker. And I said, okay, cool. It's boxing. You know, he had a good outing, you know, with Joseph Parker. Well, it was tough for Anthony Joshua stepping. So you're basically giving credit to Andy Ruiz, a last minute replacement, to come in there and give Anthony Joshua the smoke. You're praising him now for coming in there with this freaking exalted heavyweight champion that everybody was saying is the best in the game. This man spit his gum shield out to the canvas. When the referee came to him and looked, he's looking around left to right because he's totally bewildered, confuddled. He don't know what the fuck to do. I'm expecting this dude to goddamn show that dog. And we didn't see that. He quit. But you don't have individuals acknowledging that he quit, but they will acknowledge that Deontay Wilder was defeated in February 22nd. I know that's quite off the topic, but you know, I'm truly addressing some of the individuals that want to call Deontay Wilder supporters dick riders and shit. And anybody who follows this channel know I'm not a dick rider on any fighter. Because you look at my thumbnails, I don't speak on one specific fighter every day. I'm no way, shape, or form a part of the cockologist coalition. There are some cockologists out there that enjoy saying they cover boxing, but really all they are participating in is social media fellatio. Absolutely. That's all they're doing. It is absolutely okay to speak on your favorite fighter. It's absolutely okay to give the accolades of that fighter. But when comparing that fighter to another fighter, then you have to give a non-biased comparison of your analytics to just say, check this out. This fighter has this and the other fighter has this. This fighter has that and the other fighter has that. So therefore, in order for this fighter to win, he needs to do this. and the other fighter. You get the point, right? But you just can't sit up here and continue to say, well, a fighter that quit after seeing Deontay Wilder lose to Tyson Fury, he's just going to go in there and lose again to Anthony Joshua. Because if you look at the rankings, isn't Tyson Fury, Deontay Wilder, and Anthony Joshua the top 3 heavyweights in the sport? So this is what I want y'all to understand, right? Peep out the metrics. For a long time, the heavyweight division, like I said, was in a conundrum. So therefore, if we have 3 legitimate heavyweight divisions, not heavyweight divisions, 3 legitimate heavyweight contenders, and those names are Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, Anthony Joshua, right? 3 solid. And then we can filter in the Luis Ortiz, Alexander Povetkin, Dillian White. I think we can kind of sprinkle those on the back end of it. But listen to what I have to say, and you tell me if it makes sense or not. If we only have 3, the depth of 3 heavyweights that we are speaking on as being legitimate contenders at the top of the rankings, why would you ask, or why would you look at Deontay Wilder's record and say, hey, he ain't fought nobody? Without acknowledging the depth of the heavyweight division is very shallow. Why, when you take a look at Tyson Fury's resume and say, you know what? He ain't fought nobody. He got Klitschko on there, and his Klitschko is a better Klitschko than Anthony Joshua. But now we're getting individuals that don't really want to acknowledge that they don't know shit about the sport. They speak on the outside surface of the sport, but yet they're not willing to analyze it deeply and come out with some substance and some criteria to base your facts off of. But yet you're saying your opinions are facts. But if indeed the heavyweight division, you're going to say, take a look at Deontay Wilder's record. Guess what? Take a look at Tyson Fury's record. Take a look at Anthony Joshua's record. If Deontay Wilder was trash, why is it that people boost up Tyson Fury as defeating Deontay Wilder? If he was trash and he should have fired his freaking team long time ago when he was undefeated, then why are you sitting up here saying that Tyson Fury get the credit for defeating a heavyweight champion who a lot of people were saying was trash anyway? He only had one right hand. How does that fucking work? You can't sit up here and say, well, Deontay Wilder, he got exposed and he really lost to Tyson Fury twice and all this other shit. But then again, moving forward, when you hear people talk about Tyson Fury, what they say, he defeated Deontay Wilder, but this is the same fighter that you said that was trash. So how can you bolster up someone's identity when it's the other fighter, but yet you won't give them the respect they deserve as a boxer who was defending the title for over 5 years and winning there for his 11th defense, February 22nd of this year? That makes sense, right? That's true. I tried to stay well-rounded with Boxing Channel. They can say what they want about Wilder, but Wilder broke bread with Fury, like Ali did with Smoking Joe. Joe knew I needed money. Ali needed money, and so he put aside his pride to help Ali feed his family and pay the bills. And that's the same mentality that Tony, that Deontay Wilder took with Luis Ortiz. He understood Luis Ortiz was looking for that big fight, and he allowed him to get 2 paychecks because of his daughter. He knew Luis Ortiz's daughter was freaking sick. Deontay Wilder started fighting and contending as a boxer for his daughter, who has spina bifida, right? So 2 commendable acts. You know what I'm saying? 2 commendable acts. But when it comes to speaking about that, when it's Ali, people say, oh man, let's talk about this, what Ali did in the ring and his activism outside the ring. But Ali talked more trash than Deontay Wilder did. Ali had more theatrics to his boxing career, putting hands on boxers outside of the ring than Deontay Wilder did. But I guess he was a little bit more, smooth with it. It was a little bit more acceptable back then because he stood out. This day and time, correct me if I'm wrong, people in the live chat. If I would have told you that I did 13 years in the military, some people who are understanding of what the military consists of say, what? He only has 7 more years to retire. Oh, I gotta ask him, what the fuck did what the fuck went wrong? What did he do? And that's what you're supposed to do. So, hey, you don't mind me asking why you do 13 years? Because, trichodecaphobia, everybody say 13, oh shit. But within the military, you got to pick up a certain rank, or else you cannot re-enlist to prolong yourself in the military. But anyway, if I would have told them I did not go to Iraq, I refused to go over there to Iraq and fight a war because they did nothing to me. At this day and time, people will protest and say, oh, you a traitor. You're supposed to fight for your country. But isn't that what Muhammad Ali did? Muhammad Ali refused to go fight someone else's war, but he was praised for it. He was praised for getting his title stripped and being ordered to go to jail because of his actions. But in this day and time, when you have someone like Deontay Wilder who hasn't been locked up and shit like that, and I speak on him ever so often, people feel that there's a order in place that you have to get permission. And then most of I can be on a panel, and I promise you, if the panel has 6 people in there and I'm the only one that's talking about Deontay Wilder, you might get one other person. And then, the other 4, they might be talking a certain way that's not even the best interest of Deontay Wilder. That's the crazy part about it. For somebody to be shit, why aren't you talking about Tyson Fury? Why aren't you talking about, demanding Anthony Joshua fight better competition? Come over here to the U.S. Anthony Joshua probably feels he don't need to come over here to the U.S. because the U.S. people are busy dogging out Deontay Wilder, who is the best heavyweight champion over here right now. Still, he's the best heavyweight champion in a long time. All right. And plus, he's the best heavyweight champion here right now. No one else has proven otherwise. So for Anthony Joshua, he feels that now Tyson Fury is the WBC champion, which he wanted. He don't have to pay Deontay Wilder no mind. You know what I'm saying? He can just fight Dillian White again if he chooses. He's already defeated both of them, Dillian White and Alexander Povetkin. The first part of that 2-fight deal they had, in 2018, where they came out and put all these flyers out. Oh, Anthony Joshua signed a 2-fight deal with the Zone. They will both be in Wembley Stadium. One is in April and one is in September. Well, the one that happened in September, it didn't do shit. It came and it went. And then April turned around the next year and they didn't even have a fight in there because they didn't want to fight for the undisputed. They didn't want it. But anyway, he's facing Kubrat Pulev. And, even as much as I criticize Joshua, I never say, I hope Kubrat Pulev whoop his ass. We already seen Joshua get his ass whooped. We seen him go in there against Klitschko, get his ass whooped. We seen him go in there against Andy Ruiz. We seen him take freaking heat from Joseph Parker. We seen him in there. We know Joshua can get his ass whooped. But I want Kubrat Pulev to go in there and really test Anthony Joshua and make it tough for him to even come out of there You know what I'm saying? To come out of there saying he went in the this particular match and had an easy day. I want Kubrat Pulev to make it competitive. Real talk. I want to make it competitive. They said AJ fought brilliant. Off the back foot. He ran for his fucking life. He knew the first time Ruiz called him flush, good night. There's things we can say about all these fighters. Absolutely, man. Check the box on that. There's a critique because everybody's mindset is different in life. But when it comes to boxing, everybody, depending on how much you follow the sport, you're going to have your own way of thinking. But I want to address the ones that sit up here and say, give their opinion, and they say facts. How are you reduced, or how is your competence time released not to understand how stupid and what you're saying, how it doesn't make sense? How can you give your opinion and you put facts on it over and over again? It's not for me to understand. Like when it comes to boxing has never had a template. So when you see one of the premier freaking divisions up here, like the heavyweight division, and you have top 3 names, Diamante, Tyson, and Anthony Joshua. How can you look at the last 4 to 5 years and say he ain't fought nobody? Where if Anthony Joshua has been within those 5 years too, right? Who has he fought? Who is Tyson Fury fought? Seferi, Francisco Pianetta. Pianetta fought freaking Klitschko too. Same result. It's not like Pianetta got the win over Klitschko. He lost. So Tyson Fury fights him and defeats him. Wow, that's great. So we got Seferi, the man you gave a nice, wet, wholesome kiss to, made it real juicy for the viewers. You fought Francisco Pianetta, and then one of the weakest fighters that they're saying in Deontay Wilder. It goes to a draw, and people's like, "Oh man, Tyson Fury did such a good job. He got up, he rose." But that was the ones you say wasn't nothing. So you went out, you fought Tom Schwartz. Act like you got a man crush on him. And then Otto Wallen cut you up. Then you went to wrestling and fucked around, got up the game plan with Crunk, came back and you defeated him February 22nd. I got it. But the human beings who are out here talking about the sport, if indeed you are not listening to what you're saying, why boost up Tyson Fury if you say Deontay Wilder was garbage anyway? I'm gonna leave it at that. They would burn your house down for real, man. They would sit up here and light the torches. Let's go. Bring the torches. We're gonna ride on them. Let's go. Who has the gas? They were right up there with Molotov cocktails, freaking goddamn torches burning, all that shit. When I started covering boxing, like I've been covering boxing for a while, but I was behind the scenes. Now there's social media, because obviously I didn't grow up with social media because it wasn't around. But even, when I was behind the scenes writing articles and shit like that, I was just looking back. I was just looking at some of the groups on Facebook that really wasn't talking about boxing. They was doing the same shit I see on social media a lot of times. They was just gathering up a fan base or audience who agreed with what they was trying to inject. So if they liked a certain fighter, they wanted the people that was following the group to like that fighter. If they didn't, then they'll pretty much get all the admins to gang up on them and basically haze them. You know what I'm saying? That happens a lot, more than you think, people. More than you think. Moving on. I do look forward to Shakur Stevenson going in there, getting the job done against Toka Kahn Clary. All right. I wanted to be a good fight, though. You know what I'm saying? Shakur Stevenson, his mindset and everything is right. You know, is what I look for in a fighter. I like him. You know what I'm saying? I like him as far as his mentality as a fighter and how he goes in here and speaks it and he executes it. And then he moves on to the next. He's not sitting there doing this bullshit that Errol Spencer's doing right now. I know it's two different people, but God damn it, I'm gonna tell you straight up. Shakur Stevenson's on the brink of getting a second division to his freaking portfolio of championships. That's more I can say with Errol Spence, who's a two-time champion in one division. Shakur Stevenson, by the time Errol Spence probably get to 54, Shakur would probably be in 35 already, a two-division champion. He'll probably be on his third. Look, he'll probably be on his third division while Errol Spence is trying to decide where he want to move up to 54 and get with Jermell Charlo on when he's going to vacate the belts after he go over there and defeat Patrick Teixeira if it works out that way. Seriously, that's what I think, people. Logan Paul. So I was listening to Logan Paul's show because you have to tune into the people that, you know, even though you don't really agree or, you know, support what they have going on in life, you may have a lack of interest. He's speaking about this fight as if it's a legitimate boxing match for him to gross the most money ever from a legitimate boxing match in combat sports. He's basically, because I really can't put the MMA up there as grossing PPV buys because boxing, you know, rules it. It supersedes it. Boxing has put in some solid freaking numbers. So Logan Paul is talking like this fight is going to basically gross higher than any other fight in combat sports. And I want to say to you all that's tuned in, this is what I want to say. I want you to find somewhere, somehow, a Hooters, a Walmart, Church's Chicken, a Chili's, Applebee's to watch this motherfucking fight. That's what I want you to do. Logan Paul and Floyd, I want you to motherfucking find somebody. I want you to be walking past somebody's window and say, God damn it, they looking at that Logan Paul. I want you to look, stand outside and look at that motherfucker. It's just not something I support, man, because he does not deserve to be in there with Mayweather. But of course, I listen, you know, I talked to some of my boys, right? And they was like, man, Mayweather could do what the fuck he want to. I never said, look, I said the same thing. I said, you know, Mayweather can do what the fuck he want to do. He can goddamn, you know, be in the ring who he chooses to. I said it myself. But it's boxers who have been in the amateur ranks. It's boxers who has basically been on their backs. Blood, sweat, and fucking tears. Floyd Mayweather say it all the time. Hard work, dedication. They place all that into boxing. Then to see someone like Logan Paul able to grace the square with Floyd Mayweather is distasteful. It's distasteful to the sport because at this point in time in this era, Floyd Mayweather, he represents the sport of boxing to a degree. When it comes to the highest grossing fights, when it's talking about the highest paid athlete, you have to put Floyd Mayweather into the equation every time you mention that. So for him to pick up Goof Paul to come over here and for an exhibition bout, I don't like it, man. You know, he's on the show, he's talking to his boy. He say, imagine this. At this date, man, I'm about to step in there with the baddest man in boxing. And you know what? I have a chance. All it takes is one punch. I have a chance, people. I have a chance. I have a chance. All it takes is one punch. I have a chance. Logan Paul is going in there with the same mentality that a lot of people had with Conor McGregor. Believe me when I tell you. And I know with Conor McGregor, I can see how he kind of put y'all on the edge. And he had you feeling around, you know what I'm saying? You know, dipping in and out of a closet of confusion and delirium. And you're saying, should I bet on it? Should I not? Should I bet on it? Conor McGregor's a 2-division champion in UFC. Can he do it? God damn it, PPV is $100. Should I bet on it? I can see where people were in dark places, twirling their thumb, you know, popping their head off the wall, fucking around with some empty coat hangers, just doing some crazy eccentric type shit. I can understand where you was going with that when it came to Conor McGregor and Floyd Mayweather. You was beating your head because you actually thought somebody that was in a position like Conor McGregor could go in there and stop Floyd, but it didn't happen. So now I'm telling those same people who back then who paid $100, who lost money on that, to kind of be a lot more serious heading into this fight with Logan Paul. Because, God damn it, I'm going to tell you like this. If Logan Paul knocks Floyd down, if Logan Paul knocks Floyd out, it's going to be a long time before I be on this channel again. Because it's no sense of me to come up here and speak on boxing and speak on boxers building themselves up when the sport is going to allow individuals that really never laced up hard work, dedication, sacrifice, blood, sweat, and tears to lace up gloves. They're going to get a shot at the front of the line before these fighters. If that's where the sport is headed, more so of an entertainment value, more of a circus tier type of freaking, stage play, then how is boxing ever going to get the respect that it deserves now? Because social media is changing the game. Seriously, social media is changing the game. You have the goofball brothers who made their stardom by doing vines with all these other cats that was out there. What's Good, King Batch, all of them. KSI, all them cats. But you notice that none of them, What's Good, King Batch, KSI, you don't see them getting the call up. They're being very selective on who they're calling up. I'm telling you, they have to call up a white fighter because if it was a black fighter, people are going to say, what's his box rec? What's KSI bet box rec? He doesn't deserve to be in there with Floyd Mayweather. What is his box rec? How dare him? But see, with Logan Paul, oh man, I used to watch his vines all the time. He's such a funny dude, man. I tell you. All those gripping grin photos that we used to do, man, it was so hilarious. Wow. Well, you know what? He deserves it. He deserves to be in there with Floyd Mayweather. He deserves every bit of it. He's earned it. Come on. Come on. Why are you being so harsh? He deserves to be in there with Floyd Mayweather. He had over 1 million followers, for Christ's sake. Give him a break. But if you find another, just say, looking at, he mentioned Logan Paul mentioned his brother Jake knocking out Nate Robinson. He said, just seeing my brother Jake knock out, I'm motivated. And I'm saying, do you understand or you don't understand? Goofball. Seriously, do you really? Or do you really you need somebody to goddamn break that shit down? That Nate Robinson was not a boxer. Do you truly understand that your brother isn't a boxer either? Do you understand how lenient it is in the sport of boxing to obtain a boxing license? You don't have to have any amateur fights. All you have to do is pass the medicals and you're good. You don't have to have the resume of Vasily Lomachenko or Gennady Golovkin to pick up a boxing license. You do not. You don't need any of that shit. So when people start to grasp and understand that you don't need any of that to step in the sport of boxing, then it will all dawn on them, right? It will ping the shit out of them. Ping, ping. Oh shit, what's that? Someone's sending me a message. Jake Paul did not have any amateur fights, and he's not a boxer. But that doesn't disqualify him for obtaining a boxing license. Ping! Nate Robinson was a former professional NBA basketball player, 3-time NBA slam dunk champion. He himself was not a boxer. Ping! Logan Paul, you too are not a boxer. Your record right now is 0-1, like a lot of fighters on the regional level. A lot of fighters come off the couch on the regional level. If you indeed pick up a professional boxing license and pass the medicals, you can become what is called a body on someone's record. You can become a name or a record to build them up. That is the open door policy of boxing. All right? Get it in your head. That is the open door policy of boxing. You can absolutely compete in the sport from the bottom level on up to the highest level without any amateur experience. You can be released from prison anywhere, obtain your boxing license, pass the medicals, and start your boxing career. Find a gym, however you choose to do it, and become a boxer. The darker side of it is that you run into the change. This is the evolving door right here. This is where the sport is changing. You have YouTubers like the Paul brothers and KSI and all them that's infiltrating the boxing world by being in a boxing match on legitimate boxing promotion, and people are tuning in and paying for them to watch, as if they went through all the sacrifice, blood, sweat, and tears as the amateur fighters did to get up to the professional level and turn professional and take their career serious. It's some boxers that would never make that type of money that was able to be done at the Zone with KSI and Logan Paul. It's certain fighters will probably fight 60% of their career and never see a $600,000 paycheck off the rip. They may have some 20,000 here, 30,000. According, if they keep the winning streak up, it goes up and increases, and then it might drop back down to 8,000. You know, it all depends. But to compete on an undercard of two legends and get paid 600,000 is just amazing. It's just amazing. You know what I'm saying? Jake Paul was just below what Teofimo Lopez was going to get paid during the pandemic to fight for the unified titles. They wanted to give him 1.2. And here we are during the pandemic. We have freaking Jake Paul getting 600,000. Him and Nate Robinson. But he's not even a professional boxer, though he obtained the license. But Teofimo Lopez was. And he got just beneath Teofimo Lopez, who's did the Olympics, who came up through it the right way, who's defeated a legitimate world champion, who's now the unified champion. But yet, Jake Paul knocks out Nate Robinson, and his brother's up here talking about it as if he's about to shed a tear. What's going on, Mark Nash? How you feel, bro? Unfreaking believable. Man, I'm dropping this link, man. Anybody want to jump on, talk that talk? Cool. If you don't, just walk that walk. We all good. You know what I'm saying? If you want to give your take on the heavyweight fight, Shakur Stevenson any other topics that's up here that you choose to discuss, so be it. Let a brother know what's popping. But anyway, that's enough I want to talk about with them. But I moving on. I have to bring this up what I read earlier, that Joshua's trainer, he had mentioned that Joshua wasn't 100% in the first Ruiz fight. You know what I'm saying? When I hear about that bullshit like that, I'm like, oh. But anyway, I got to mention my boy Felix Verdejo. So he's going in there against Masayoshi Nakatani. Hi. Genki desu ka. So he's going in there against Masayoshi Nakatani, who I heard people talking about. He was whooping Teofimo's ass. He whooped Tia. He wasn't doing shit except damn trying to heal up after that fight, because he might have had success. But people, once again, the fuck boys, they tend to forget that the boxing match, as if you're in a race or whatever, it's all about the finish. It's all about the end state. Especially in boxing, you've seen fighters that take damage early on and still win, right? That's how we celebrate them. That's how we say, man, so-and-so got the dog. So-and-so got that heart. Man, that was an unbelievable fight. But Masayoshi Nakatani, I thought for sure he had a head injury. I remember hearing Lopez Jr. talk about that, Teal's dad, and said he had a serious head injury, right? So now he's in there against Felix Verdejo, who's basically on a resurgence after having an accident and, doing some things that was outside the scope of what they wanted him to do as a rising name in the sport of boxing. He's about to step in there with Nakatani, and his whole point is to once again do it better than the next. And what does that mean, people? Doing it better than the next is I got to one up Teofimo Lopez. Even though Teofimo Lopez fought Nakatani before Richard Comey, he feels that if he goes in there and stops Nakatani after Teo gave him that beating, that's going to raise an eyebrow to the boxing public and Teofimo Lopez say, oh, shit. But then again, once again, I must do comparisons, right? Did it raise an eyebrow when Devin Haney stopped Mason Menard in 9 and then Teo stopped him in 1? Did anybody raise an eyebrow? They didn't, because really Mason Menard didn't have any skin in the game to influence someone either way. So is Nakatani, if he gets stopped, are they going to say, well, we should think about giving Verdejo something special because he knocked out Nakatani? Because Nakatani was undefeated when he stepped in there with Teo, right? Teo gave him his first loss, but I could have sworn he has a head injury. I actually like Felix Verdejo. As a boxer, I do. Now, when I seen him fight in person, he didn't look all that good at that time, but he's getting it back together. All right. Nakatani has said that boxing isn't about height. It's about punches. And he has a case, you know what I'm saying? Because we've seen Mike Tyson, of all people, we've seen Mike Tyson, who was short. Mike Tyson basically, was at a disadvantage with his reach and height, and he was able to maneuver himself, with different angles into the front door, into the space of his opposition that was much bigger, and get the job done. Seriously. What's going on, Major Key Boxing? What's good? I hit you up earlier, man, to say what's up, but you might have been at work, man, or this might have been. But anyway, yeah, I did hit you up. Shout out to Major Key Boxing, man. Make sure y'all subscribe to Major Key Boxing. Check out Mark Nash, all that. Make sure you show your support. Yeah, but that's where Felix Verdejo is at right now. He wants to go in there and put on a show with Nakatani and do it better than what Teofimo Lopez. But one thing he needs to understand that Teofimo Lopez was not a champion when he fought Nakatani. And Nakatani was ranked above Teofimo Lopez heading into that IBF fight. You know what I'm saying? That IBF eliminator. He was ranked above Teofimo. So Teofimo went in there and defeated him, and he ended up smashing freaking Richard Comey too, which was led him to the front door of Vasily Lomachenko. If you look in the details of my video, I put everything that you need for this weekend. So if you need to copy and paste this, the details of what's going to happen this weekend, feel free to do so. I put the entire press release about Shakur Stevenson, Toka Kahn Clary, Felix Verdejo. I even put in there Edgar Berlanga. Edgar Berlanga is stepping in there again. The main dilemma people have about Berlanga is not the fact that they don't want to support him. They just want to make sure that they really want to see him make it out of the first round. Like, they want to see him box. But see, he's doing what he's supposed to do. I mean, he's stopping motherfuckers in one round. Boxing is very unique sometimes. 1 minute they want a motherfucker to clean your house up, man. Goddamn shit. Cut all the lights off in that bitch. And then 1 minute they want you to have a motherfucking open house, leave the doors open, lights on and all that so you can see everything. Just leave it on. When it gets nighttime, just leave all the lights on. All right? We just want to get a different perspective on how you're living. There's going to be some people driving down the street around and looking at, just let them peek in your house and see what you got going on. Boxing gets crazy. We go through this little wave where people want to see knockouts. And then you go through this wave where people want to see boxing. Berlanga, he has 100% knockout ratio, and he's getting guys out of there. Not in the second, not in the third, not in the fourth, not in the fifth. He's doing it in the first round, y'all. We'll see. I'm telling you, Saturday's card is going to be hot. ESPN Plus, man, check it out. That shit's going to be fire. Look, let me start from the fight. You got Shakur Stevenson versus Toka Kahn Clary, 10 rounds, junior lightweight. We got Felix Verdejo versus Masayoshi Nakatani, 10 rounds, lightweight. Edgar Berlanga going in there against Ulises Sierra, 8 rounds, super middleweight. And then on the undercard, you got my boy Cassius Clay Collard versus Quincy Lavallas, 8-round middleweight. You got Jesse Rodriguez, Saul Juarez, 6-round light flyweight. You got Robeisy Romero back in there against Brandon Valdez, 6 rounds. And then, of course, here's another guy who's highly touted with the knockouts, Elvis Rodriguez. He's going in there against Larry Friars, 6 rounds welterweight. And then another rising star, which is back on the scene, Haven Bradley versus Michael Land. A lot of hype is behind Haven Brady. You know what I'm saying? And last, Kasir Golston against Urlin McClammy, 4 rounds. But I put the whole card out there for this ESPN Plus, man. Seriously. It's a decent undercard. I'm talking about a decent undercard to the point where once the main card starts, the shit's going to be smoking already. It's going to be smoking already. Haven Brady, Elvis Rodriguez. Come on, man. You even got Cassius Clay Collard back in the building. He got COVID the last time, He came back from COVID. Now he's back in the building. Edgar Berlanga, Felix Verdejo, Masayoshi Nakatani. Then you got Shakur Stevenson versus Toka Kahn Clary. Headlining. Hell yeah. Yeah. That's good shit, y'all. That's good shit. This is what Shakur Stevenson had to say. He said, the short notice for this fight doesn't bother me. I'm one of those fighters that always stay in shape. This is nothing new to me. See, that's what I'm saying. I like his mentality, man, his attitude, the way he expressed, he feels confident about that. The short notice for this fight doesn't bother me. I'm one of those fighters that's always stay in shape. This is nothing to me. Repeat. The bubble days feels like the amateur days all over again. This is not a lot of people. There's not a lot of people around you, and you only focus on the fight. I don't think that he is a bad fighter at all. I don't see him as a bum. I see him as a real test, and I'm ready to put on my best performance to date. I'm one of the best young fighters in the sport. They need to put some respect on my name. And on Saturday, I'm going to show them why. Shit, they need to put some respect on his name. Toka Kahn Clary. The opportunity is a blessing. I'll be sharing the ring with the former Olympic medalist. He's not a former Olympic medalist, okay? You don't lose your medal because you leave the Olympics, okay? Toka Kahn, put that in your freaking narrative. Put it in your cachet. He's not no former Olympic medalist. And with the former world champion, I'm ready to show the world who Toka Kahn is. I'm ready for this level of opposition. We've been working hard for this. I'm excited about this. Okay. All right, cool. Felix Verdejo, everything has gone well since I've been in training. The change has been heaven to earth. From earth to heaven? That's what you meant to say? The change has been from heaven to earth. I've seen the changes in me. I'm in excellent condition. I would expect you're talking about earth to heaven, because the way the Bible has it, that heaven is no way like earth. No way even come close. The streets of gold, I ain't ran in those streets of gold down here. I have confidence in my skills on the work I have done, but I don't overlook my opponent. And for Masayoshi Nakatani, I'm not worried about the long inactivity. I've been training hard. And Nakatani is returning just off a year. Fights outside of Japan, strong punches are important. And I want to focus on that for this fight. Boxing is not fought with height. It is all about the punches. And that's why I'm coming to knock him out. And Edgar Berlanga, he said, I'm 100% ready for this fight. Get your popcorn ready. I got to see my idol Felix Trinidad in action as I was growing up. When I met him last month in Puerto Rico, we both got very emotional as he was giving me great advice. I don't dwell on the first round stuff. If it happens, it happens. I'm ready to go 12 rounds. It doesn't matter how many rounds we're fighting. Every camp, I prepare to go 12 full rounds. Hey. I don't know who Texas freaking tornado is, but I can only imagine. I can only imagine. God damn. But yeah, that's it. I read off the notes from the presser. You know what I'm saying? And I can't say I'm going to be covering the fight. I do have something that I'm attending to and working on this weekend, something big. And like I said before, I really don't want to talk about anything until it happens. I'm just not the one to put it out there like that until it happens. But yeah, y'all continue to support the channel, man, and stay tuned for this weekend. I'm definitely trying to make something pop with someone that you're gonna shake your head. You're gonna say, "Oh shit," But shout out to Team Williams. He's stepping in the ring this weekend. Shout out to Team Williams and Michael Williams Jr. stepping in the ring once again, and to pick up another victory. So we look forward for him picking up his 14th victory in the ring, man. So if you don't know who Michael Williams Jr. is, check him out. They call him 150%. His dad is 300. He's a Roy Jones Jr. fighter. And be sure to check him out, man, and support him if you can do so. Also, I want to shout out Jihad Tucker over there with Jackal Fitness, AWD. Shout out to Jihad Tucker. Who is Jihad Tucker? On IG. Make sure you check him out. Follow him. Lolo Harris, man, he's coming up in the game. He's 17. Check out Lolo Harris, man, the son of Charles Harris. Check him out. These are some heavy hitters. You got the Soul City Boxing over there. Isaiah Steen, Charles Conwell, Otha Jones. Check them cats out, man. You know what I'm saying? They are here grinding. Shout out to Joshua Greer Jr., Chicago's own. Rise up. Salute. Make that shit happen. Shout out to Carlos Jackson. You know what I'm saying? He's a junior featherweight. He may potentially have another fight in January of 2021. I was out there. I did a little media with him today. Solid team, solid dude. Coach been around some of the biggest stars in combat sports. When I say combat sports, that means boxing and MMA. So y'all keep grinding out there, man. I don't know if you all heard, but the Lopez brothers are down here. KC, Najee, and Hakeem Lopez. They was amateurs that was set to turn professional, and they got mad talent. And they had their father. I believe his name is Lenny Lopez. I just posted a video. Like, they had a fight card down here, and it's been a while, but I didn't post the video yet. And they was one of the only videos. So I'm not going to get into it because people are going to look at it real weird. But I actually called him. I tried to call him too. I tried to call him up several days ago. I had the receipts in my phone. I tried to call him up, and just talk to him because I kind of, whatever. But he ended up passing away this morning. You know what I'm saying? And I know they hurt like I don't know what, man. Anybody who knew Mr. Lopez, man, anybody who knew that cat, that was a good dude. I still don't know all the information on how he passed. I really don't. But if you look at my video on YouTube, man, I asked him, I said, damn, how can you, those wasn't his only kids, but I say, how can you raise some killers like that? Like, he had 3 sons, very close in age, like they can box. You know what I'm saying? People down here, they know about the Lopez brothers. They know about them. They know about Najee, Hakeem, KC, absolutely. They also know about their father too. But he ended up passing away, man. I was like, damn, that shit just came out of nowhere. I just was sitting down there speaking to him at the fight, and he was down here when Gervonta Davis was fighting Yuriorkis Gamboa. I done seen that man so many places, man. But rest in peace, God bless, you and your family. Real talk. Because I was like, I just couldn't understand, how he was gone so quickly. But I'm not gonna tell you how or what, but I did try to hit him up recently, and I just posted a video for a reason. But God bless, man. I hope that him and his family, able to move forward. They still pursue the sport of boxing, in the honor of to that, because that's deep. That's real deep. And lastly, if anybody running the Errol Spence, tell him, like, it's okay to fight Terrence Crawford. He don't have to make up any more excuses. It's okay. TJ Sports, what's good? Say salute WCS. What's good? What's good with you, man? Appreciate you pulling up. It's okay. But till then, man, y'all absolutely know what it is, man. Continue to support World Combat Sports. Stay tuned for this weekend. I got something for you. Real talk, I got something for you. I'm not sure if I'll be covering the fight, but don't count me out. I might, but I'm not sure. I'm not sure if I'll be covering the ESPN, but if I do, those of you that fuck with WCS, man, pull up and show your support, man. Let's talk about these fights because it's a hell of a card to close out the year. A hell of a freaking card to close out 2020. Until next time, yeah. Salute, turn up and tune in the World Combat Sports.